Good afternoon. I'm Dara Bunjon. I'm the food enthusiast here at J Moore Living. I'm a food writer, food stylist, PR maven, and a frustrated baker. Those of you joining us live, feel free to leave your comments or questions in the comment box, and you'll see me check from time to time. And I'm just sitting here, and of course, the screen is refreshing. Let's see if we got this here. Okay. All right. So it's not up, but can you see me and
I can
hear
see
me?
you. I
Okay,
can see you
Griffin,
and
are
hear you.
we good? I guess we
We are
are.
good. We are good. Yes.
Okay. I don't know what's happening here. All right. So my guest today, I want to welcome back Zena Polin, proprietor of Beauty Champagne and Sugar Boutique in Arlington, Virginia, co-host of the podcast When You Just Want a Glass of Wine. 4 years ago, neither of these existed. So we're catching up with this wine aficionado, cigar smoking, trilingual world traveler who loves to bake beauty. Zena's journey from journalist to restaurateur to boutique wine bar owner is a testament to reinvention, passion, and a love of bringing people together over good food, great wine, and a little sparkle. Hello, Zena.
Hi, Dara. Cheers. So nice to see you.
It is good to see you. What's on your plate to do today other than doing the show?
Well, I started my day, which is why I have a glass of Greek rosé in my hand. So cheers, everybody. I started my morning actually at a podcast with at Yala Greek Ice Cream in Georgetown with our friend Chris Kafalis, where we paired four Greek wines with four of his amazing ice creams. So at 11 o'clock this morning, I was having just the best day, and then came over to Beauty to see you, which is wonderful. So my day is getting better all the time, and then I'll open up Beauty when we're done.
Well, I'm sorry I'm delaying your customers to come in, but it's so important that we catch up.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And you know what? When we initially talked on the interview 4 years ago,
Yeah.
we never really talked about your family table. What
Okay,
was the family table like? I know it was New York. I know your father had a bar.
that's
But
right.
what was your family table like?
Well, we did, I will say, we ate dinner all the time together. There might have been Star Trek on in the background because that was one of our favorite shows. My mother would cook. I mean, funnily enough, some of the things that I remember cooking are things that I love today, but didn't particularly love then, like tongue, beef tongue. Some of those kind of, yeah. It's a delicacy now, right? But back then, now I eat, chopped liver and everything else, and never ate that then. So we did have a kind of, a Jewish family. I'm only second generation from Minsk, that region. From my father's side, my mother's a little further on. She was actually raised a little bit more kind of conservadox. We're very liberal, Reform Jews as we grew up. But tradition was part of what we did. My parents were usually drinking some Almaden at the table. And because my dad had a bar and my mom had a bar called the Witch's Brew in Amityville on Long Island, we actually had a bar downstairs. But wine and liquor was never hidden from me. So I always had it around me, and it was just part of our everyday life.
Well, well, I say well so often I should have 12 of them out in the yard. Um, our first interaction ages ago, and I was trying to think about that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was writing an article for someone, and it was about the items that people steal from restaurants.
Oh, geez. Yeah, I remember that. Yep, they stole I said it was a high chair, and we laughed about, like, how could they possibly steal a high chair and salt and pepper shakers? Pepper, to be
Right,
precise.
right.
Yep.
I didn't know if there were any other oddities that were stolen
I
since
mean,
then.
yeah. Well, I have to say, I have a little, so Beauty is threefold. And one end where I'm seated right now is our bistro area. Behind me is what we call our little cheeky section. And then this is where people come and have a glass of wine, light food, cheese, charcuterie. In the middle is the boutique area, along with my house-made pastries, because as you mentioned, I love baking. And then on the other side is the wine shop. So, I hate to say it, it's gotten a little better because there's more cameras now, but it's more light fingered things that would disappear, like little candies and chocolates. Nothing major, although somebody did take my giant sign outside that weighed 100 pounds, and that was more than shoplifting. That was they took the whole sign. Things that happen, but it's funny that so now we have, like I said, a few more cameras. We're more of a kind of, don't want to say older place, but you talk late 20s on up. So we don't have a lot of young kids coming in, because that's where the candy would sometimes disappear to. But nothing as incredible as the person who used to steal our pepper all the time. Yep, got
I
caught.
remember.
I
I
still don't
remember
know how
that.
the high chair disappeared. That's something that was unbelievable.
Well, I think one of the stories um, told a story that they walked out. It was in Connecticut,
Uh-huh.
and they during prime dinner service, they walk into the restroom.
Uh-huh.
They take the faucet out
Oh
and
my
they put
God.
in a cheap thing and walked away with the faucet.
Okay, see, not that crazy. But one of my favorite chefs, Tom Shaudel, who has some places out on Long Island, I just love him. He's a rock star. Literally, he plays music and he's a chef. He has restaurants out there. He wrote this really funny book. And I think in his book, the funniest was when somebody put a bread basket on their head as if it was some kind of accoutrement hat or something and walked out with it. And yeah, that's pretty incredible.
Yeah,
I think that was one of my favorite stories.
right. I have to say the 4 years have gone by so fast since your last appearance that I think 4 years ago when we talked, you were just getting ready to open Beauty Champagne and Sugar Boutique. So
Yep.
in that time, Beauty has been nominated by the Restaurant Association of Maryland and Washington, D.C., called the Rammies, the wine program of the year. So that's pretty
Yeah.
outstanding.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, we are actually hitting May 3rd is our 4 year anniversary. So the timing is really right at 4 years. And yeah, the Rammy nomination for wine program was amazing. Last year we got Steward of Virginia wine. Now that I'm settled into Virginia, we do a lot with Virginia wine. We have Virginia wines on our shelves in our bistro and part of our our wine club. We started the podcast. It's only been a year, and we're already kind of finishing up season 3. We created a wine club, Bayesta Wine Club, that has more than 4 dozen members to it. So it's really evolved into something that just brings me a lot of joy. And that's really what it's all about. Very community oriented.
And I see that you're getting quite a bit of publicity and you're getting out there. I want to talk about the podcast.
Yes.
Those who know me know that I don't really drink. Give me, a sparkling sweet champagne and I'm good. But
Hmm.
other than that, I'm the antithesis of what a wine enthusiast would be. Like,
That's why you're the food enthusiast.
yes, that's why I am the food enthusiast. I noticed if it's been a year, you're doing shows quite rapidly. When they say that, like every 3 or 4 days, aren't you?
We're about ready. So this year we'll probably finish up season 3, maybe early June, early July, late June, because we also have a wine trip to Austria. Our first season we did about 18 regular shows, and then so we publish every Tuesday, and then on Saturday we do a What's in Renee's Glass, and that came about because Renee Gentry, my partner in wine, she was studying for her level 2 and then level 3 WSET, her Wine Spirit Education Trust exam. And the third level, as she likes to say, was the hardest thing she did after passing the bar. So we did blind tasting, and we did about 18 of those. The first season, season two, I can't even remember. Season three, we're up to about 15, 16 episodes. We'll probably finish that right up in the 18th and 20. So we do a lot. And while we're actively podcasting, we have to work around a lot of people's schedules because I own beauty. Renee's an attorney during the day. And for instance, Chris has Yalla Greek ice cream. It's 90 degrees outside and it's a, busy season for that. So we often work around a lot of people's schedules. So sometimes we kind of do a lot in a week or two. We also do deep dives. So we recently did a deep dive into Chenin Blanc, which was super fun. And depending on what we're doing something with actually Inglenook next week, which will be kind of different. So we do a lot of different styles, and sometimes there's a lot of taping and prepping.
Well, there's another well. I need one of those rubber bands on my wrist, snapping. I was going to ask about Renee, and you filled us in. She's your cohort, but
Yep.
there's another person that pops up every once in a while, which is Jimmy, your better
Oh,
half,
yes, my
or
partner.
your worse half, whatever.
He's
And
wonderful.
and there's some sort of comparison with bourbon and wine. Tell us a bit about that.
Right. So we created, when we were doing this, we created Guy Talk with Jimmy. And it was kind of, my idea of it was kind of like Car Talk. Remember the Car Talk out of Boston? They were just
Yes.
amazing. It was one of my favorite, at the time we just called them radio shows, right? And Jimmy's a mechanic, actually. He works at a shop, Scott's Auto, up in Rockville. And when we first met, I said to him, "What do you drink?" He's like, "Well, I'm not much of a wine drinker." And I'm thinking, I'm making some assumptions and a little worried. He goes, "I like Merlot." And I was like, "Baby, you will be just fine." He likes a nice, big, bold red. And then he came along with me on this wine journey. And last year we went to Willamette Valley. He cried over his first bottle of wine at Archery Summit. I mean, first time he ever cried over a bottle of wine because it evoked such memories of being with his grandfather. And we created this Guy Talk with Jimmy. So the latest one we just did was with a girlfriend of mine who I've known since junior high. So we went to junior high, high school, and GW together. She's actually running for a local office in Manassas now. Talk about reinvention. And we decided to do something, wine for bourbon drinkers. Because I think men, like bourbons. They like whiskey. So we brought in two delicious bourbons. Well, we brought in, it was actually not both bourbons. We brought in Eagle Rare, and then we brought in whiskey and Irish whiskey from Pierce Lyons, where we had been in November, which is in Dublin. And we brought in two amazing wines, including one from Hawks that is amazing. And we just did this comparison and talked about kind of, if you like these flavors in bourbon, how does that translate into wine? If you like smoky, do you like a Syrah? Do you like some oak? Do you like cherry? Are you going for that Amareno cherry in your red wine? And so those are fun because the guys that come on are actually, they really enjoy it. We did it with snowboarders too, and it was great.
Well, that's another thing Jimmy likes to do.
He is a snowboarder every weekend, every weekend, January, February, and until the season ends in March, we go up to Whitetail and snowboard. And then next year, we're planning a ski and snowboard trip to Leogang, Austria, because I want to. We're going to do a group trip. So, yeah, we'll be drinking some schnapps there.
Yeah, I should tell people that you've probably visited 75 countries. You've lived in different countries.
Yep.
You're trilingual. And you're just a wonder. I'm curious, with everything that you do, are you still keeping up with your running?
So funny you said that. As a matter of fact, this morning I took a little break. Got a little ill in February, March, but this morning I went out. We were joking about it because I went out to "I'm Never Gonna Not Dance Again," one of my favorite Pink songs. I call it my secondary 2026 walk-up song. So that I put that on because I didn't want to go for a run. I had a busy day today, do the hair and the makeup and get ready to work. And I put that on and got myself out. So yeah, I try to get a half hour in 3 to 4 times a week. I still do it, and it really is a lifesaver. It's my time and my peace, and I try to keep everything else out of my head. Doesn't always work, but it is something really important to me.
Yeah, I'm doing like aqua and pool,
Oh, that's
aqua
great.
classes and
Mm-hmm.
aqua
That's really
zumba.
good.
Love that. Yeah,
Oh, and Zumba
absolutely.
too? You
There's
do Zumba?
Aqua Zumba. Yeah.
Oh, it's Aqua Zumba. Gosh, because regular Zumba is really hard.
Well, I used to do that until my body said no more. So
Yeah,
now I'm in the warm pool and I'm doing the aqua classes
I love
there.
that.
Uh, just to remind people, go to these websites, everything that you want to know. It's Beauty Champagne and Sugar Boutique.
No,
No,
beauty, yeah,
it,
beauty, champagne,
it's
and sugar.
it's
Yeah,
beautychampagneandsugar.com. And for the podcast, it's when you just want a glass of wine.com.
that's correct. Both of those.
Everything you need to know, all the connections, all the Instagrams, all this, all that is all there for you. And it might be coming up in your comments. I'm not getting any comments over here. I'm gonna see if I get anything here.
Well,
Try
probably my
that.
mom's listening over there on Long Island. It was her 88th birthday yesterday. Oh, she might not be so happy I said that, but happy birthday, Mom. And we're going along. I'm going to visit her on Long Island because on Sunday, I'm taking her to brunch out east. And our friend Robin Epperson McCarthy, who owns Chronicle Wine, Saltbird, she's going to be pouring some wines at a little restaurant out east. So I'm going to go out there and continue another wine journey and celebrate my mother's birthday with her. And I'm sure she's listening to this.
Oh, well, she might be trying to. If she went to my Facebook page, she's not seeing it. She had to go to J Moore, but she'll get the video. And happy birthday to her.
You.
I'm just looking down, French bar, blah, 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 that you have the wine club. Um, how did you meet Renee?
So Renee was one of my very first customers here. And as she tells the story, she saw the words beauty, champagne, and sugar. And she was like, I like all those words. I think I want to come in. So she popped in. She was actually my very first wine club member. And we just started talking, and, clients become friends. And about a year ago, I
Absolutely.
walked in and I said, Hey, you want to do a podcast? And she said, Sure. What are we doing a podcast on? I said, Wine? She goes, Sounds good. So, but I have in this community, so I mean, Crystal City, Arlington, Crystal City, what's now also called National Landing, the old school 23rd Street there. This community is wonderful. I will tell you that after my first year, you're struggling entrepreneur, the business is just starting, it's shortly out of COVID. And 5 of my wine club members came together and bought me this 177 bottle wine fridge just as a gift to me to say thank you for being here. And
Wonderful.
it was so amazing. And she was one of the people that led that. And it was really, truly just a great thing. So she and I just became friends. And now we went to Nashville together, particularly to interview Carol from Husk. And then we ate all over the place and listened to music as Nashville is. We went up to New York together to interview Ray Isle, the executive wine editor at Food and Wine. And so we'll be going, she'll be on the Austria trip that I'm leading with there'll be about 16 people on that. So, and we'll be podcasting when we're doing that and tasting wine. So I was just very fortunate to find someone who was like ready to do this. And, she owns her own law firm, so she has the time to do it. And it's super fun. That's the key, is it's super fun and we have a great time doing it.
Right. It's like you and me going out to dinner,
Right?
right?
Exactly.
It's
Exactly.
it's and anything that's shared over a table and people can talk and share their thoughts is wonderful. So
Oh,
whether
yeah.
it's wine or food or a combination of both, that's my kind of thing. I'll have my ginger ale, or unless you have champagne, I'm good to go. Is rye still your number one alcoholic
Yeah.
beverage other
You
than wine?
Yeah, you remember everything. Yeah, I am still a rye girl, basically, because my dad drank rye. Basically, my drink is a rye Manhattan, one of my favorite things. And Jimmy's moved a little bit from bourbon towards rye. I just like the flavor profile of it. That's kind of like, whiskey for wine drinkers. I like the almost peppery style to it. It's got a very distinctive flavor. I love a bourbon too. But if I'm going to order, I tend to hit rye. It's wonderful that you remember that, and it always makes me think of my dad. So yeah,
That's
still my drink.
wonderful. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And let's see. Let's I have so many notes down here. I said the Austria trip that you covered.
Yep, that's going to be
And
wonderful.
Sky. Okay. All right. We have the warmer weather coming up.
Mhm.
Summer, I mean, coming up. We're
It's already
going through it
90,
right
right?
now. It's 90 degrees. What wine suggestions do you have for the summer months?
So I think one of the great things is, and we were having a conversation about how people's flavors have changed over the years and also changed, excellent question, seasonally. And we found that people in the last 2, 3 years, I've noted that people like what we would call high acid wines. Those are things like Vermentino or Gruners. And the high acid wines come from countries that have, or regions that have a cooler climate. So, cooler climate, the grapes don't get as ripe. You get a lot of nice acid, and acid is very mouth watering. So, I'd say the trick is when you taste some wine, and then after you taste it, you kind of go without realizing it, that's acid. That's the acid that
Right.
makes that. And so I always say, if you want to sound like you know what you're doing, you taste it, you go, oh, nice acid. And then you sound like you know exactly what's going on. So I would say, Vermentino's, Sauvignon Blancs, but maybe from some fun regions. Like I have a Greek one that I love. I have an Austrian one. We have a lot of different Sauvignon Blancs from different regions. I have an Uruguay one from my friends um, in the northern part of Uruguay. So those are great. And we were just talking about a Satirico, Greek wines, which I think would be great for the summertime because, Greece makes you think about being outside near the ocean, beautiful. Anything that also might have a little salinity. So I'm going to throw one more at you that I'm so glad you asked this question because I have to order it in. It's this interesting Chardonnay from Bedell on Long Island, and it's made by taking the seashells from the Peconic and they put it into the stainless steel and then they kind of wash the seashells with the wine. So you get not only the flavor, but you get that kind of breakdown of the shell. And then it's aged on the seashells for a period of time. And then, I mean, your mouth's almost mouth watering now, and it's perfect for the summertime. And it reminds me of being home in Long Island. It reminds me a little bit of kind of when I would travel with my parents in the summertime in France. And it's a wonderful summer wine. So things that have some nice brightness to it, I think are great. That's where I would go.
Well, I'm hoping that other people, I cannot see anything in the comment box. We had this problem last week,
Oh,
but
well.
but they will show up for people. I was just, if people are asking questions, I'm not ignoring you. I'm just not seeing them. All right. So beautychampagneandsugar.com. When you just want a glass of wine.com, that information will be floating up.
Thank you.
Let's get to some of the questions that I didn't ask you 4 years ago
Oh, there you
this
go.
holiday. I
I'm
did
ready.
ask what was the best piece of advice that you got, and you answered that. But if you could go back and give your 18-year-old self a piece of advice, what would it be?
So it's a really good question because there's so many things that have gone on since then. I think some of it on a personal level would be just a little bit more grace. I think grace and patience on a personal level. But, that was really the start of, I feel like back then we started our career so early. And I would say for the entrepreneur side of me, I always
Mhm.
say hire an attorney, which is probably what I said 4 years ago. Hire it
Right.
as because yep, because and that was Ruth Gresser was one of the first people to say that because women entrepreneurs look at that as a cost instead of an investment. And now people are doing so many things so young. You have the ability you have such a huge reach on the internet now and in so many different ways. Just make sure you're protected. I would say be creative, be patient, have a little grace, and invest in an attorney who's going to help you set yourself up for success at a young age.
Perfect. That is what you said. If you could wake up tomorrow morning with a new talent, what would the new talent be?
So you did mention that I speak 3 languages, and I'm very fortunate to have had parents who are language teachers, French, Spanish, Russian. So French, Spanish, and English I'm fluent in. But I think about that often, and if it wasn't the talent to just fly like a bird, it would be to speak multiple languages. especially now while we're doing so much with the podcast, and we're drinking wines from Georgia and wines from Greece, and we want to go all, we're going to Austria. So if I had the ability to speak multiple languages, which I guess there's apps for that, but just personally, that would probably be what I'd want to do, is to communicate, to travel, to share more glasses with people and really be able to speak with them.
What two items must be in your fridge other than wine?
So really good butter is always in my fridge. Really good butter. And if not wine, which is probably the other thing, I actually always have eggs, and I always have a plethora of eggs because I never know when I'm going to bake, or I just want to toss some in for hard boiled, or I want to make an omelet. So, I mean, when I tell you I have eggs, I probably have 2 to 3 dozen eggs in my fridge at all times, because they're the most versatile thing and you need them to cook. And with butter and eggs, I could basically do anything.
It's funny. I like to keep at least 2 dozen in my fridge. I find,
Something, right?
yeah, there's always something, in the morning. It could be a scrambled egg or it could be something else that I'm whipping up.
Yeah, I'll stick it on my oatmeal, or I'll just, if sometimes you just want some hard boiled eggs, and yeah. And then again for baking. So sometimes I use a lot of them. Yep.
What is the best bite you've had all week?
So there are two. The first was something that I made, and I was really, really happy about it because everybody's been asking us to bring back my chocolate cake. And I made this 2-layer chocolate cake with buttercream frosting and mini chocolate chips. And it worked perfectly. As we all know with cakes, measure, don't measure. It's still sometimes, magic and science. But everything
Right.
about it worked perfectly. And it cut beautifully, and it looked pretty, and it tasted really good. So I would say that, but in addition to that, because this just happened the other day on Tuesday night, I went to Apero, and the United Sommelier Foundation had an event there to help raise funds, and they did a little tiny potato chip with a little, basically sour cream. It was probably something else, and with a little bit of caviar on it, and that in there, they had this little mushroom roll up. Those two things just have stuck with me. They were beautiful. It was a fun experience. We had some great wine. We were raising funds. We were talking with friends. It was a little late night, so
Right.
it was kind of fun. It was 10 o'clock. So that was very surprising and very, very delicious. And they have a happy hour that I want to go back to.
Well, now I'm getting hungry.
It was
That
so good.
seems to be a thing for me. When I get done with the show, I go eat something or I indulge. But I indulged last night. This heat, whatever.
Uh-huh.
Understand, I'm no more than a 2-minute walk from a Safeway.
Mm-hmm.
No more. And if I get a craving for something, it isn't like, oh, I got to get in the car, I got to drive there. I go, I just
Right
walk.
there.
Yep.
So
Uh,
what you
I got a pint of mango sorbet and I got a pint of cherry ice cream, and that was dinner.
That is fabulous. Having had ice cream for breakfast today, I can relate.
Okay, okay. Well, this has been great, and
Uh,
it's good catching up. And who knows, our paths will cross for sure.
oh, yeah.
And
We have to do another food tour. Our food tour was amazing, the one you took me all over to. That was a
I,
day.
I have not been to any of the new places. My sister's sending me, she's following um, Eat More Baltimore, and she's out in Cal, and she's sending me the information about the new restaurants. I'm going, okay.
Yeah, we got
Uh,
to hit.
but I'm not sure, it's you and Jimmy.
Yes.
I'm not
Yeah.
sure he'd leave you alone with me. I don't know.
I tell him about all the wonder. I tell him about that was a wonderful. We did 4, 5, 6 restaurants. It's
Something like that. It was really great
yeah, it
fun.
was great. Yeah.
So, everybody, all the information should be coming up in the comment section for you, but not for me. And we'll figure this one out. Zena Polin, I thank you so much. And I think we did okay. You can open the store. The people are probably banging the doors down right now. Thank you so much. And hopefully it won't be 4 years until we connect again.
Oh,
Thank you.
thank you. Cheers.
Cheers to you. I have a couple of announcements. And okay, next week's guest is Anne Marie Bonneau, aka the Zero Waste Chef. She is an award-winning cookbook author, fermenter, sourdough baker. Anne Marie has lived plastic-free since 2011. Through social media, her blog, and her book, The Zero Waste Chef, plant-forward recipes and tips for sustainable kitchen and planet, Anne Marie shows others how reducing their trash not only benefits the planet, but also satisfies their taste buds, improves their well-being, and boosts their bank accounts. If you care to reach me, very easy on Instagram, it's at Dara Cooks. And on Facebook, there is a page, The Food Enthusiast. Feel free to go back into the show's archives and check out the interviews at jmoreliving.com. On the menu, it says food. Hit the drop down, and you can then see The Food Enthusiast and see all 281 shows. Yes, 281. All right. Don't miss the link there. You can sign up for the free bi-monthly food newsletter that comes out from JMOR. We truly appreciate it when you share our show with friends and family. May your plates always remain full.